In this episode of Dark Ride Dads, we're going to break down how to save money outside of the parks, what hotels to stay at, and really breaking down how gross is too gross. Welcome back, and thanks for joining the Dark Ride Dads. On today's episode, we're going to be spending our time talking about how to save money and really maximizing your value outside of the park, and how we really take advantage of the time that we have in Anaheim and some of the sites and things that you can do around there. With me today, of course, is Zach on my right. Hi, Zach.
Hey, pal.
I'm glad you're here.
Good to be here.
And as always,
Hey,
Jason
buddy.
McNinch. Yeah, just jump right in. No, that's fine. Yeah, act like it's your first time. That's cool. So we're going to be spending our time today talking about what you can do outside of the park. You know, one of the things that my family's done in the past is instead of buying like a 4 or 5 day pass to Disneyland, we'll end up taking a day off from the park. And I kind of wanted to spend a little bit of time tonight talking about what to do, how to save a little bit of money, how to have a good time, and not necessarily being inside of the park. So we can also talk a little bit about hotels and finding that right hotel for your trip. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. So let's start with hotels, because I feel like that's a massive burden whenever you're planning a trip to Disneyland, is you feel like I have to find the right hotel, I have to find the right place. And really, I think my advice is be really cognizant and really aware of what your situation requires. So I don't know, Zach, give us an example of a time, you know, where you felt like you nailed a hotel reservation.
I don't know that it's happened that often, to be honest. Again, we're talking about being cheap here, right? So my first rule is usually try to stay under $100.
Wow.
So
That's tough.
that is aggressive. We also have older kids, right? So everybody usually needs their own bed, right? We can't be doing the sharing. So
Do you ever put a kid on the floor?
we have. When our kid was younger, we
kids
would.
hate
Oh, he loved it. We'd bring the not like on the hard floor. We'd bring an air mattress because we usually drive, right? If you're doing a cheap trip and you're driving. But so we would bring an air mattress, throw that on the floor in between the two beds, and he loved it. He thought that was great. Nice. So that's, if you don't have to have a lot of beds, you can usually find a room for under $99. Now the trick is finding a room under $99 with all the beds you need and breakfast. If you can hit that gem, you know,
and that ain't gross.
Well, I was just gonna say, keep in mind, you're probably just gonna be sleeping there, right? If you're gonna be mostly in the parks, I mean, you don't want to be sleeping in like bloodstained sheets, and you know what I'm talking about. But like, if it's all right and it's within your budget and you can sleep there comfortably, it doesn't have to be right the Disneyland hotel.
I think that's a great circumstance for everybody that's planning a trip to Disneyland. Really spend some time thinking through how much time are you actually going to be spending at that hotel. Right. Like if you've got little kids and you need to take a nap and you know that you're going to be there for a couple hours every single day, giving your kids a break. Maybe spend a little bit more. Try to get closer to the gate because you are going to be going back and forth a little bit more. But once your kids are older, like to your point, once they're old enough, you can spend all day in the park. Really, you're just sleeping there, right? Like you're just sleeping in the park.
Yeah.
Tell us about one of your hotel victories.
So our default is we'll stay at the Clarion.
Clarion's great.
It's right down the street. It's close enough that you can walk, so you're saving your money there. You don't have to pay for an Uber or anything. Even our little kids can make that walk. It's exciting, right? They're excited to go. Sometimes you can hit the breakfast there downstairs. It's not free. Like they do like a continental breakfast or whatever that you can pay for though, and that's not bad too. But yeah, we'll stay there. It's super cheap, and honestly, it's nice. Like the quality's nice.
Yeah, and
it's a good place.
I don't know that it hits my $100 a night, but that's one that we do a lot because of the bed situation, right? You can get the two queens, and then you can get the couch that folds out, right? So that's a really good. I think Clarion,
they take care of it. It's good.
Clarion, we probably stayed there, I'd say 65% of our trips.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. One of the other recommendations I'd make to those listening and watching and thinking through this, don't be afraid to stay actually a pretty good distance from the park. There is the BART system. I don't know if you guys ever used BART when you're there. What do you think?
I don't love it. I don't love it.
I don't mind it.
In fact, to that point, and this has only happened the last couple of times, right? Because a lot of times you're like, oh, I got to be able to walk to the park. The last thing you want to do with little kids right at the end of the night is walk back to your hotel with your.
That's true.
How many times have I carried the kids, right? And everybody's tired. But an Uber, right, or a Lyft is not like, if you're like a mile or 2 miles away, that's like $8 or $9,
yeah,
right? Like $8 or $9, and But the BART system, right? That's like, I think it's like $6 per person. And
Yeah.
it is there and back. But if there's like 5 people in your family, that's $30.
Yeah.
I'd rather take an Uber for the same price.
No, I think that's great.
Right.
That's fair.
So I don't know. I've ridden the BART quite a bit just because circumstantially, like we had little kids and it was just easier.
Yeah.
But we stayed at a hotel. Gosh, I don't know. It's been quite a few years ago, and it was probably 3 or 4 miles away from the park. So there's no way you're making that walk with
Right.
kids. We got the BART, but it was a hotel that was 2-bedroom, had a kitchen, had a pull-out bed. We ended up having like 13 or 14 people in that hotel room.
Wow.
And it was like $200 a night.
Was that legal?
Yeah, they didn't ask any questions. Like we all rolled in, and it had free breakfast.
Yeah,
Like we all
free
strolled
breakfast.
down in the morning and like
Yeah,
wiped
that's-
that place out.
That's great.
right.
Yeah.
So like, there's deals to be had. I think if you look, don't be afraid. Like I said, to stay kind of on the edges of the range of Disneyland. But I think the Uber suggestion is a great one.
Yeah.
Because Disney's kind of reworked the whole way they do
Yeah.
their Uber system, and there's like a dedicated drop off for Uber now. It's super easy. BART is obviously really easy.
I will say this about the Uber. We learned the hard way. I think the best time to actually get on the app and order that is like you've left the park, you've left the gate, you've left the Esplanade, and you're heading out towards.
Yeah.
And like you're like where the buses are picking up for the hotel, right? That's when you order.
Can I give you another tip?
Because we've been left before.
Can I give you a tip?
Sure.
Have them pick you up at the Grand Californian.
Oh
yeah, we did that.
We did that once. That was great.
That was a special experience when we got picked up from there. You remember
we don't
that?
need to go into that.
Coop's like,
What an
I'm
Uber-
usually staying
What
there.
an Uber that was.
Coop's like, just pick me up outside the hotel that I'm already staying at, please. But
It's actually a
Yeah,
great
the
spot
Uber
because
was
it's
the
not as
hotel
busy.
that our Uber driver was staying at. Like, it was
No.
quite nice.
Yeah.
no, that is a good tip.
It is a good tip.
Less busy.
It's less busy. It's easier to see. They have a really dedicated spot for Uber. It's super easy, and you get to hang out in that gorgeous lobby while you wait. You don't have to deal with all the people
Yeah,
trying
that's
to get
true.
on buses and
Yeah.
stuff.
That was an experience. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great till we got in the Uber, but up until that point, it was great.
Boy.
Yeah, I think one of the other good suggestions that I would make, if you happen to drive, like you were saying, like you guys drove to save some money
Yep.
and you're staying just far enough away in a VRBO, or you're staying at a hotel that's a little bit on the edge and you want to drive your car, I would recommend staying or parking at the Toy Story parking lot. Not only is it cheaper, but you get to go through security when you're getting onto the buses and the shuttles. They'll send you through security so that when you actually get to the park, you don't have to go through the security lines again. You can just go straight to the gate.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's a time saver, right? And you don't have to worry about your car.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of fun for the kids too. It's like the first ride of the vacation,
Yeah.
right? Like that shuttle from the parking lot to the gate. Like
Their experiences started.
yeah, it's great. And a lot of times if you get like a cool driver, they'll kind of tell you facts and kind of. But that's a really good tip too. If you're driving, it can feel a little steep when you pay that fee, right? But
Yeah, I don't know though, man. Like we've parked at Mickey and Friends before, and not only is it tight, like that parking, it's tight.
it is.
But then you have to get all your crap together. Then you have to take the escalators down, and then you have to wait for that shuttle. And then you end up having to go through security, and then you stand in line. And it feels
it's
like
a time
an ordeal,
suck, yeah.
right? Like it feels like an ordeal. Whereas Toy Story, like every time I've done it, you just pull in, you park. There's a shuttle waiting. You go through security. Security is super friendly. Like I don't know, just because they're dealing with fewer people, I think they're just a little more
Yeah.
happy about being there.
A little more snappy.
Yeah, for real. Like, I don't know. It's just been a better experience. And then the joy that you get of coming off that bus, looking at all those schlubs standing in security, just going like, right in.
Should have done it right. Should have done it right.
So to me, like, that's cheap, but also that feeling of like, I spent less than you did, and look at what I get to do. Like,
Yeah.
now I'm getting value.
So like value is important, right? But like when is it like not worth the experience, right? Like there are times
can
where
tell
you can
you when it's not
you
worth
can
the
get pretty cheap.
experience.
You can get pretty cheap and have a pretty miserable experience. Am I,
What?
Are we going to talk about
Yes.
when a hotel is too gross?
Let me tell you
there is such a
about a
thing.
night
Even for me.
and images that you will not soon forget.
None of this has been doctored.
Zach and I had a hankering to go to the park on a Thursday and decided that we were going to leave Friday. We left work. Did we leave work a little early that day?
I don't think so.
We left work at like
I think it
4:30
was 4:30.
from Utah in Lehigh, Utah. We left 4:30, drove
all night.
all night to Disneyland. Got there at like what time was it when we got there?
So with the time change, we gained an hour, right? We got there at like 1:30.
At 1:30.
Yeah.
We unpack into this hotel. We wake up the next morning,
that's what
do
you
the
can call
park,
it.
come back home, or come back to the hotel, go to sleep, wake up early in the morning, and drove home. It was a 24-hour like trip. It was insane.
It was great.
And to greet us, we get to this hotel. Oof. You will find when you look at hotels, there will be options for less than $100, and that is really the line that you want to pay attention to.
Under 70 might be a stay away, right? Just stay away.
It was very scary.
Wasn't it like 72 with tax or something like that? Like
It was a cheap.
But you keep
I would
saying
have paid more to not. I mean, it was.
we should have just walked around all night. Really, is what we should have done.
We could. It would have been nicer to stay outside on the sidewalk.
And you keep saying a hotel,
A hotel. It was not.
motel at best.
Yeah.
So have you guys been like vaccinated and like
Oh, it was.
have
So
to
we
get
when we
regular
walked
Someone may
in,
have snuck in the middle of the night and given us a shot.
we
or something.
walked into this place. The walls were painted a horrible shade of purple. There was a horrible stencil of a Mickey ears on the wall.
It's like the color of
The
Ursula's
lampshade
skin.
looked like somebody had just really stirred it around in a toilet. And I walked into the bathroom that had a brown tub, mind you. Like, legit, the paint was brown, hopefully. And there was a cockroach in the tub just to say hello.
He waved.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Did you give him a name?
that was real nice.
did you name him?
Cocky.
No,
Was he not scared of you? He was like, oh,
No, he wasn't. Usually they
He's-
scatter
he
away.
skittered
He
away
was like,
quick.
sup? Like he didn't even.
My favorite though was there was a light fixture hanging from the ceiling on one side of the room,
Right
and there
above
was-
the bed.
and there was supposed to be another one on the other side above my bed, but instead they had removed the light fixture and screwed atop the hole was a paint can lid that they had painted over. Just the worst patch job anyone could ever. You could do better with a piece of paper and staples. Like, I don't know why they didn't just do that.
So are
but
you guys saying like that's the threshold? Like that's too cheap?
it was
That's-
horrifying.
I would try
Would
to
you ever take your kids somewhere like that?
try to stay around the 100, right? Try to any lower than that, you're
too cheap.
you're delving into some shallow waters.
If you're gonna spend under 100, just buy a tent. Like it was
Just go.
terrifying.
Take a motorhome. They let you park in the Disneyland
Okay.
parking lot.
All right.
Did you know that?
No, that's great. Great little tip there.
Didn't you do that with the Winnebago thing?
Yes, years ago. That was my first trip. Wow. See episode 1. What a turd. My first time I stayed in a Disneyland hotel. How about you guys? I was lucky to stay in the parking lot. Thank you very much.
I mean, it sounds pretty.
We're
great.
going to bring that up every episode.
I didn't bring it up last episode.
Well,
so just saying.
Mighty nice of you.
Cool. Yeah. So when it comes to hotels, I mean, just really think about what it is you're going to be doing at that hotel, what you need it to do. Get that free breakfast. Like it saves you so much money to have a meal. Not only that you can eat in the morning, but then you can also like pilfer it and take things for snacks in the park later.
Ziploc baggies, baby.
For real. Like take what you can get.
What about things outside the park? Like you mentioned, you have a rest day. Like, and when I
Down
go
day,
with my family, my wife won't go unless we have like a rest day in between.
Yeah.
So like, what are some things you've done? I know I've done a couple cool things. What have you guys done like on a rest day like that?
Yeah, I think the cheapest thing that my family does on a rest day is there's so many great beaches close
Yep.
Yeah.
to Disneyland. Like Huntington Beach is right there and it's gorgeous, right? And it's low key and there's never a huge crowd. So like it's easy to go in the morning, spend most of the day at the beach. You can find food pretty cheap and you can Uber out there super cheap. And it's just a fun day.
Yeah.
Like it's a relax, it's a chill day. My wife loves that.
Yeah, I was gonna say beaches too, because our kids are all fishes, right? Like they all just love the water, and living where we live, we don't get to see the ocean that often. So you can even like if you've driven your own car, you can just pack up everything. Now, what you don't want to do is go to the beach on a day that you're arriving or that you're leaving, because if all of your luggage is in your car, chances are you're gonna get robbed. May or may not have happened to me before. So just if you're gonna like the beach day is a great way. Pack light. Don't bring a lot of stuff. Everything that you take with you, take to the beach. But Yeah, no, the beach is great. They might, if you're driving, they might charge you to get in, or an Uber obviously is going to cost you some money to get there. But it's a great cheap way to spend an off day.
Yeah. My daughter and I when we went last time, we went to the beach and we just spent hours like collecting shells and rocks and just super
It's a great
fun.
day.
Yeah.
Like it's
Super
a great
fun.
day. And it's super cheap.
Another place that I went to with my wife once, there is a glass chapel that you can go see in Anaheim.
Oh, cool.
And it's designed by the son of a famous architect, which we will drop that caption right here. But it's really cool because there's no 90-degree angles in the chapel. So it's all built out of fractals.
Oh, cool.
So, and it's all like the entire exterior is made of glass. So it's inside like this little wooded area and there's trees all around. But it's all made of glass, and even the stonework, like the laid stone on the floor, they're all fractals.
Dude,
and
that's
it
cool.
leads up. It's a really, really cool little chapel. Like I think people get married there and stuff, but the guide wasn't there when we were there, but I think there's a guide that you can go and he'll tell you about it and stuff. But it was really cool and it was free. You didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
And we spent like an hour and a half there just walking around. It was really beautiful. Super cool.
Right on. I think one of the other things that I've done, we're baseball people. We love baseball. Oh, sorry. Let me get into the mic. One of the other cheap things that we've done is we've gone and taken our kids to the baseball stadium, and you can do a tour of the stadium.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's cheap. Like, I think it's like maybe $5, $10 a ticket.
really?
Or it used to be free. I don't know. It's not that much money.
That's super cool.
But we went in, like, they let you check out the dugout. They let you go into the locker rooms. They walk you kind of around the stadium and give you a history of the stadium. And then that night, we found cheap tickets to the Angels, because here's a fun fact. They're not good.
Yeah, you can find those probably
They're pretty cheap.
probably find those under a bush.
So, like, it's really cheap to go, especially in the summertime, and just enjoy a baseball game and do something a little bit different. My kids, they're baseball fans. Like, I don't know, we just love the game.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. The Sharks play close as well. So, like,
Yeah,
you can see that.
let us know where you guys go if you have a day off, because like for us, it's so important to have that day. And number one, you get to take a break from spending in Disneyland. But number two, it rejuvenates everyone, right? It's like such a refresher. So it's really nice to have places like, I didn't know the baseball thing. Like, we'll definitely hit that next time.
Yeah.
But where do you guys go? What do you do on your break days? Just drop us a comment.
Yeah.
Let us know.
What are your secrets?
The last one that I'll throw in is like downtown Disney's right there.
Yeah, that's
like
where I was gonna go.
Yeah.
if you
Yes.
still want to like have a cool Disney experience, even though you're
spend
not
a-
in the parks.
Spend a whole day in downtown.
Yeah,
Disney.
you honestly, like if you can like hold back a little and keep that wallet tucked away and you're just window shopping or whatever, like you can spend a whole day just looking at. There's some really cool stuff down there that you can check out, and you still get that Disney experience.
Yeah.
Buy an ice cream cone or something, have some lunch there or whatever. But
Take a tour of that Grand Californian.
yeah,
yeah.
go spend some time checking that out. That thing is beautiful.
Last time the three of us went together, we had a night where we arrived and we didn't have tickets to get into the park, so we just kind of messed around in downtown. We went and ate at the new restaurant, and it was great. But then I took these guys over to the Disneyland Hotel, and there's a wall full of old memorabilia and old park
So cool.
artifacts.
Yeah.
That was
Like-
the first time I'd ever seen that. That was so cool.
And there's art in all the hotels, so like you could very easily spend probably the afternoon and evening just going through some of the hotels.
Yeah, just
getting
go
some of the
slow.
Food,
Yeah.
and then enjoy downtown Disney. Like, go to the Lego store.
Check out the gift shops inside the hotels. They're super, like, there's never anybody in there, and you can avoid the crowds and get a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, now they've got the new stage, and like there's that whole park area. Like,
Yeah.
you can go and you can hear live music and just kind
Live
of chill.
music.
And
They got that live piano. A guy in a tuxedo in the Grand Californian just playing some live
Classy.
music. It's
super relaxing.
it's so fun.
Pure class.
So great.
So yeah, there's some of our tips and tricks on how to save yourself some money and time and find value outside of the park. You don't have to feel that pressure to be in the park every single day. There's plenty to do in and around the park. Be mindful about the hotels you get. And like Jason was saying, if you have advice or tips, drop them in the comments and let us know.
Yeah, and if you like what we're doing, give us a like and a subscribe. It helps out a little bit, and yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us. We're the Dark Ride Dads. Have a good night.